Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to Creston. I missed it so much, I had to come back just a few days after a Lennox and Murray matchup here. This time, I do get to cover the Creston Panthers as they get set to take on Lewis Central in a Class 4A Region 2 semifinal matchup. The winner of this one moves on to a regional final there where they will face the winner of Dallas Center Grimes and Glenwood. The highest seed will get the home field advantage there. As we get set for this Class 4A, regional semifinal. Go ahead and set the lineup for you really quickly. For Lewis Central, they're 1 through 9 batting order: Mari Mans, Alyssa Griffin, Aubrey Davis, the 1, 2, 3. Then Cami Damgard, Cameron King, Maddie Johnette, Haley Wilcox, Mac Naylor, and Sophia Frost. That's the 1 through 9 for Lewis Central. Now I'll set the defense really quickly for Creston. JZ Hansen, Avery Staver, Mila Coons, and Evie Marlin first to third, and then behind the plate, Ava Adamson. From outfield from left to right, Cora Smith, Jersey Foot, and Sasha Worster. As we take a look now at the Creston pitcher tonight, Taryn Fredrickson getting the start in the circle for the Panthers as she faces Mari Mans here to start things off. Mans fouls one off out of play, and the count evens up at 1-1. Let's take a look really quickly at the senior Fredrickson's stats this season in the circle. She's pitched in 31 different games, 28 starts for the senior. Here's the 1-1. It is in there for strike two. The count moves to 1-2. Fredrickson's been the ace for the Panthers this season. 155 innings pitched, 238 strikeouts for the senior, a 140 ERA as well. The 1-2 is hit on, foul, out of play. And she's been excellent all season long as Creston had an excellent season, 31-6 under head coach David Hartman, 20-0 there in Hawkeye 10 play, earning them a championship there in that conference. The 1-2 is hit on, foul again by Mans. The count stays at 1-2. These two Hawkeye 10 foe are nothing short of knowing what each other's got. They faced each other twice this season in a doubleheader back on June 2nd. Creston was able to take both of those games. Here's the 1-2 to Mans. It's in the dirt for ball two. The count evens up at 2-2. Mari Mans, the senior hitter for the Titans. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Fredrickson to Mans. It's hit on, popped up by Mans. It will leave the infield, tracked down by right fielder Sasha Worster to make the grab for out number one. That's how the first one goes down here from Creston in this regional semifinal matchup. I'm Tate and Amy. You're listening to the KMA Stream at KMAland.com here in Creston on this regional semifinal day for Class 3A, 4A, and 5A. As Fredrickson gets set to face Alyssa Griffin, the catcher for Lewis Central. Griffin, the senior hitter this year, 57 hits. That's a team second for the Titans. Here's the 0-1 pitch to her. It's outside for a ball. The count goes to 1-1. Griffin, a .496 average, .561 on base percentage. She's got 8 home runs on the season, 40 RBI. Here's the 1-1. This one's popped up out of play, and the count will move to 1-2. Regional semifinal night for Class 3A, 4A, 5A, and softball, and then also Class 1A and 2A getting some district final matches in, actually, there in the baseball world. 2-2 is the count for Griffin at the plate. Here's the pitch from Fredrickson. It's outside for a ball, and the count goes full for the two seniors, Fredrickson and Griffin. A full count pitch is on the way. Here it is. Swung on a missed by Griffin. Fredrickson's pumped up after that big strikeout for out number 2 here. Getting things going for the Panthers in a regional semifinal matchup. Aubrey Davis, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. The junior hitter for the Titans. She's been big all season this year for Lewis Central. 55 hits on the year. She's got 16 home runs as well to her name on the season. 59 RBI. That's a team leading 59 RBI. .696 average, .784 on base percentage. She finds herself down 0-1 in the count to Fredrickson early. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's in there for strike two, and Fredrickson working early on the junior Davis. Aubrey Davis was an early KMA Jim Hughes Real Estate Player of the Week early on in the softball season. I think that was week 1 or 2 there in the softball season. As she watches ball one go by, the count goes to 1-2. Fredrickson gets her pitch, working with a pace here in the circle for the Panthers. That one goes in the dirt before it hits the plate, and the count goes to 2-2. Lewis Central 30-9, 15-5 there in Hawkeye 10 play under head coach Rob Riggs. The 2-2 pitch is high and away for a ball, and the count goes to a full count. 3-2. A payoff pitch is on the way for Fredrickson. Here is that pitch. It is low for a ball, and Aubrey Davis will end up on first with a walk. And after Fredrickson got up in the count 0-2 early, gives up 4 straight balls to Davis, and she'll take first. Giving the Titans their first base runner here tonight. Cammie Damgard, the left fielder, steps up to the plate. Damgard, the senior hitter, 59 hits. That's a team high for Lewis Central. The first pitch from Fredrickson to Damgard is in there for a strike. The count goes to 0-1. Adamson threw it down to first, seeing if she can get Davis. Davis was able to get back in time. This live stream is audio only due to the Iowa High School's postseason regulations. The 0-1 is swung on and missed by Damgard. Davis takes off. She'll be tagged out at second. A nice throw down from Adamson, and the Creston defense is hyped as we go to the bottom of the first. Still scoreless here at the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
Is believing. That's what you'll hear from customers that choose Barrett Auto Center of Glenwood time and time again. Barrett customers come in for vehicles and service work, but they come back for conversation and honest advice. They want one of the largest pre-owned and fully serviced inventories in KMA land, and they return when they've gone elsewhere and it just isn't the same. See and believe for yourself how little differences add up to a better car buying experience. Come back to Barrett's and Barrett'sAutoCenter.com.
Sure what you want to do with your life? Feel like your job is at a standstill? Get your foot in the door with area manufacturing companies at Iowa Western Community College's SEAM program. Sign up now in the Center of Excellence for Advanced Manufacturing through IWCC. Classes are just 2 early evenings a week with holidays and summers off. Improve your current skills and learn new ones that will give you a new career or even enhance your current one. For more information on SEAM, contact IWCC's Clarinda Center at 712-542-5117.
Welcome back here into Creston. We're set to begin the bottom of the first in this Class 4A Region 2 semifinal matchup between Lewis Central and Creston. The Panthers getting set to bat here for the first time tonight as the defense came off the field very excited after Adamson threw out Davis, who was stealing second to end the inning. The Panthers lineup will start off with Ava Adamson, Avery Staver, and Taryn Fredericks being the 1-2-3. From there on, it goes Jersey Foote, Evie Marlin, Mila Coons, Sydney Staver, J.C. Hansen, and Sasha Worster. Ava Adamson, the senior catcher, steps up to the plate to start things off for the Panthers. She leads the team in hits with 49. She'll be facing in the circle tonight from Lewis Central. Sophie Frost getting the call from the Titans. Frost, the freshman this year, has pitched in 13 different games, 11 different starts. A 160 ERA, on the year, and 40 strikeouts for the freshman pitcher. She forces a strike in on Adamson, and the count goes to 1-1. Adamson, a .458 hitter, .516 on base percentage. As Frost delivers the 1-1, it's swung on a miss by Adamson, and the count goes to 1-2. I mentioned that these two teams met earlier this season in a doubleheader. Creston took both of those games, won by a score of 7-4 and won 9-2. Here's the 1-2. It's high and away for a ball, and the count evens up at 2-2. Here's the even 2-2 pitch. This one's popped up by Adamson. It will leave the infield, and right fielder Mac Naylor tracks it down, makes the grab for out number 1. Avery Staver, the second baseman, steps up to the plate now for the Panthers to keep things going. We'll go ahead and name the defense really quickly for you. For Lewis Central, their infield from first to third, Haley Wilcox, Mari Mans, Aubrey Davis, and Cameron King. Behind the plate for the Titans tonight, Alyssa Griffin, and then the outfield from left to right, Cammie Damgard, Maddie Johnette, and Mac Naylor end up the defense there for Lewis Central. Watch this ball one go by. The count goes to 1-0. Here's the pitch from Frost. This one's hit on by Staver. It goes directly to shortstop Aubrey Davis. Davis makes the play over at first for out number 2. And 2 batters up, 2 away here in this inning for Creston. Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. Fredrickson, 47 hits on the year. Here's the first pitch to her. It's high for a ball. The count goes to 1-0. The senior hitter, a .431 average, .467 on base percentage this year. As this is a senior class that Creston is definitely happy to have walk through the softball program. They've done nothing short of a great job in this program over the last couple years. 2 balls, no strikes is the count to Fredrickson. Here's the pitch from Frost. This one's hit on by Fredrickson, lifted into the outfield. It'll drop in center field for a base hit. Taryn Fredrickson gives the Panthers their first base runner here on a 2-out single. And Jersey Foot, the center fielder, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. There is a courtesy runner in for Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher. Sydney McDonald, the sophomore, will come in and run the bases for the pitcher. Jersey Foot, the senior hitter, Panthers, has got 37 hits on the season. Foot and Staver, Avery Staver that is, are tied for RBI on the season with 34. Here's Frost's first pitch to Foot. Foot pops this one out. It will also leave the infield. But the second baseman, Mari Mans, makes a diving catch, lays out for it, makes the grab, and that's how the inning comes to a close. 2 strong defensive showings for both these teams here in the first inning as we go to the top of the second, scoreless here in Creston. We'll be back right after this.
Salvage in Bartlett is no stranger to the ups and downs of owning and operating a small business. But no matter how much changes on their end, there's one thing that will always stay the same for their customers. It's cash. Call for the best scrap metal prices in the area and go ahead and test their unloading times. Then, when all is said and done, that's right, leave with cash. J-Dog Salvage, Bartlett, Iowa, 402-290-3124. That's 402-290-3124.
Since 1892, Malvern Bank has been building community from 404 Main Street in Malvern, Iowa. For generations, Malvern Bank has been serving local businesses, families, and farms to help them achieve their goals in every step of their lives. From saving for college to planning for retirement and everything in between, Malvern Bank is your full-service community bank. Call, click, or stop in today to apply for an account, loan, or credit card. Malvern Bank, build community, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back here into Creston as we're set to begin things in the top of the second. Leading things off for the Titans here in the top of the second. Cammie Damgard, the left fielder, will get another shot in her at-bat. She was in the middle of an at-bat there to end the top of the first, but Aubrey Davis was thrown out, stealing second. So that's how that inning came to a close with Damgard still at the plate. So she'll get a fresh count here against Taryn Fredrickson as it moves to 1-1 early. Fredrickson gets her pitch. Now the 1-1 is swung on, contact made, foul directly back into the fence, and the count goes to 1-2. This is a game that I've had circled for quite some time. As soon as Trevor told me this is where I was headed, this is what I was looking forward to. I know Creston came out with pretty controlling wins there in the first 2 matchups, but I think that, especially here in the postseason where anything can happen, this is going to be a very fun matchup. 2 very, very good for a getting to face each other in a semifinal matchup. Another one is fouled off by Damgard, so the count stays at 1-2. Lewis Central already played a game in the postseason to get to this point. They beat Red Oak 10-1 there at Iowa Western in the first round, and then they move on, face Creston here in a semifinal matchup. Creston was given a bye there from the first round. That pitch from Fredrickson's in the dirt, leads the count 2-2. The pitch is high and away for a ball, and the count goes forward now for left fielder Cammie Damgard. Damgard, the senior, leads the team in hits with 59. Here's the full count pitch. This one is high for ball 4, and a leadoff walk for the Titans gives them a base runner here in the top of the second. Cameron King, the third baseman, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. The junior hitter, 53 hits on the season, a .482 average, .555 on base percentage. As she's got a runner on first and no outs here in the top of the second. Fredrickson's pitch to King is in there for strike 1, and the count goes to 0-1. No balls, 1 strike is the count for Cameron King. The 0-1 is watched as the ball goes by. The count evens up at 1-1. As King takes a big swing at one, can't make contact. Fredrickson gets up in the count, 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs for the Titans here. The pitch from Fredrickson away for a ball. The count evens up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count. This one's popped up. It will not leave the infield. Second baseman Avery Staver doesn't have to move very far. Gets underneath of it, makes the grab for out number 1. That's how the first one goes down here. In the top of the second, Maddie Johnette, the center fielder, steps up to the plate. Again, Damgard over on first after the leadoff walk. This one is popped up by Johnette. It also will not leave the infield, as this time shortstop Mila Coons gets underneath of it, makes the grab for out number 2. So 2 quick outs for the Titans here in the top of the second after that leadoff walk. Damgard still over on first. Haley Wilcox, the first baseman, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. Wilcox, the senior hitter, 30 hits on the season. Adamson throws one down, trying to catch Damgard on first, but the left fielder was able to get back in time for the Titans. Wilcox, a .275 average, a .378 on base percentage, as Fredrickson misses the strike zone for ball 2, and the count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. It's high for ball 3, and the count goes to 3-0. 3 straight balls from Fredrickson, the pitcher. Here's the 3-0 pitch. In there for strike 1. The count moves to 3-1. The hitter's count for Haley Wilcox. KMA's got games in 3 different locations tonight that you can catch across the KMA airwaves. Mount Air at Lennox. Trevor Mader's on the call there in that Class 1A district final. They're in a Class 2A district final. Ethan Hewitt and Brian Bertini are on the call of a Trainer at Underwood matchup. And then, of course, I'm here at this Lewis Central Creston semifinal Class 4 softball matchup. Wilcox will take first on a walk. So that puts runners on first and second now for the Titans. They do have 2 outs. Mac Naylor, the right, steps up to the plate. Naylor, the senior this season, has 22 different hits, .253 average, a .343 on base percentage. Fredrickson works a strike in early. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Oh, 2 is the count now as Fredrickson works 2 quick strikes on Naylor to start this at bat. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Fredrickson to Naylor with 2 outs. That is low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-2. The 1-2 is swung on and missed, and that's how the inning comes to a close. Naylor goes down with a strikeout. Fredrickson's second strikeout of the evening. We go to the bottom of the second, Still scoreless here on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
Nutrient Ag Solutions takes the responsibility of growing seriously. As a leader in the ag sector, they provide their customers with complete agriculture solutions, including nutrients, crop protection products, seed, service, and digital tools for optimum customer success. Talk with Nutrient Ag Solutions in Westboro, Coyne, Percival, and Essex. Nutrient Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
Agricultural business majors at Northwest Missouri State University gain the knowledge and the experiences of agriculture as well as business foundations. Northwest's faculty focuses on 4 core areas: agricultural finance, agricultural marketing, agricultural policy, and economics of agricultural production. Career opportunities in this field at Northwest include agricultural sales representative, grain merchandising, agricultural lender, operations manager, and claims adjuster. Find out more about an agricultural business major at Northwest Missouri State University.
Welcome back here in the Creston as we're set to begin the bottom of the second. Creston will bat their 5, 6, 7 hitters. Evie Marlin, Mila Coons, and Sydney Staver will all see the plate here in this inning. And then if anyone gets on, J.C. Hansen, the first baseman, patiently awaits there as well. Evie Marlin at the plate, the third baseman tonight for the Panthers. She watches ball 1 go by. The count goes to 1-0. Evie Marlin, the senior, 48 hits. That's a team second for the Panthers. 29 RBI is the 1-0 pitch is high for ball 2, and the count goes to 2-0. Marlin, a 432 average, 479 on base percentage for the third baseman. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Frost. This one's hit on by Marlin, popped up into the outfield. Left fielder Cammie Damgard tracks it down, gets underneath of it, makes the grab for out number 1. Mila Coons, the shortstop, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. 22 average, a 436 on base percentage. 22 average, a 436 on base percentage. She's set to face Frost for the first time. Frost with an interesting wind up into her pitches. She'll make the grab for out number 2. Sydney Staver, the designated player, steps up to the plate. She's hitting tonight for left fielder Cora Smith. Staver, the junior, at the plate, 21 hits, a 333 average, 462 on base percentage. And she's set to face Frost here with 2 outs for Creston. She fouls one back into the fence, and the count goes to 0-1. Now an 0-1 pitch from Frost to Staver here in a beautiful night. Beautiful Saturday night here in Creston. Clouds are starting to, looks like they're starting to roll in a little bit, but much better than what it's been looking like it was supposed to be for Friday and Thursday. Yesterday and Thursday, we were worried about getting games in all day long with the possible storms coming in there last night, but able to avoid just as long, and all the games got in and done. And not even a worry of anything like that here in Creston. Staver down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sophia Frost. Here's the pitch from Frost. Swung on a miss by Staver. That's how the inning comes to a close. Frost gets her first strikeout of the evening as we go to the top of the third. Still scoreless here in Creston on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
Considered a premier global food provider by many of the world's leading brands, OSI delivers leading-edge food solutions for product development as well as processing. Much of it is done from their Oakland, Iowa plant. Being a leader in the industry allows OSI Oakland to give back to their communities by sponsoring area high school events, offering special programs for veterans, and other community outreach programs. Well, to learn more, visit osigroup.com and search for the Oakland, Iowa location.
No one succeeds alone. It takes support to get there, sacrifices made by others, wisdom learned and passed on. When your business is agriculture, you dedicate your life to supporting community, doing the hard work that helps all of us thrive. It's why at PCSB, we believe in supporting you. Your success makes our community succeed. PCSB, we believe in you. Visit us online at wearepcsb.com. Member FDIC.
We'll go back here into Creston as this one's popped up by the 9-hitter. Sophia Frost of Lewis Central. They're due up for them here in this inning, the 9-1-2. Sophia Frost, Mari Mans, and Alyssa Griffin. Then if anybody gets on, the shortstop, Aubrey Davis, will step up to the plate. This one is popped up and also will go out of play by Frost, the pitcher. Now at the plate for the Titans. She's down in the count, 0-2. Sophia Frost, the freshman this year, just 12 hits, a 279 average, a 415 on base percentage. In the 43 at-bats she's seen. That's lower numbers compared to the rest of the lineup. Not a face you see every single game from Lewis Central. They like to split it up a little bit there between Frost and Naylor a little bit. And Ella Iskrit also gets some good time at the plate for the Titans. She's a name that we don't see in the lineup as of yet. The 0-2 pitch to Frost just misses outside as Fredrickson in the circle kind of smiling, thinking she might have hit the strike zone on that one, but home plate umpire says no. The 1-2 pitch is hit on hard by Frost into left field. It will be tracked down and grabbed by Cora Smith in left field. She had to, on that one, track it down in foul territory, extends her glove and makes the grab for out number 1. An excellent catch there from left fielder Cora Smith. Gets the first out of the inning. Mari Mans, the second baseman, steps up to the plate. The one-hitter for Lewis Central as they turn it back to the top of their order. Mari Mans, Alyssa Griffin. Mans watches strike one go by, and the count goes to 0-1. Mans popped out to right there in her first at-bat. Senior, 372 on the year, watches the ball go in the dirt as the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here in the top of the third. Here's the pitch from Fredrickson. Hit on, goes right back to Fredrickson in the circle, who doesn't even really have to move. Tosses it over to first towards J.C. Hansen for the first out of the inning, or second out of the inning, excuse me. Alyssa Griffin, the catcher, steps up there in her first at-bat. One of Fredrickson's 2 strikeout victims so far. Or 2 strikeout victims there in the first time through the lineup. Fredrickson forces a strike in on Griffin, hits the outside part of the zone, goes up in the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Fredrickson with a fastball that goes high as the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs as the pitch is blown by Griffin. The count goes to 1-2. Fredrickson just a strike away from getting out of this inning without allowing anything. Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs. It is high for a ball. The count evens up at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. This one is fouled on. Back into the fence behind home plate, and the count will stay at 2-2, excuse me, for the senior Griffin. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss in the dirt. It's a drop third strike situation. Adamson picks it up behind the plate, makes the throw down to first for out number 3. So another strikeout for Fredrickson, her third of the evening as we go to the bottom of the third. Still scoreless here on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
With a chronic respiratory condition, Rogers Pharmacy can provide what you need. Rogers Pharmacy offers a full line of respiratory equipment like oxygen, BiPAP, CPAP, and nebulizers. Rogers Pharmacy isn't a big box pharmacy where you may have to wait for days and weeks to get what you need. They're a full-service, independent, family-owned pharmacy, and they go above and beyond to offer you the quality service and products you deserve. See Rogers Pharmacy in Tarkio, Maryville, Mound City, St. Joseph, and Stanberry, Missouri. Visit Rogers Pharmacy online at rogersrx.com.
This is Sid with Shop Ag near Trainer. I'm learning all of the ins and outs of agronomy with my dad, Shane. I've learned that Pioneer seed is second to none and that they back that up with proven products and yields. I've also learned that if our customers have a question or a concern, we'll work until we figure out the answer or solution. I'm learning all of this because at Shop Ag, we've made a commitment, and that commitment is our family helping yours. Call Shane at 712-520-1333.
Welcome back here to the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. The 8-9-1 hitters all due up for Creston here in the bottom of the third as they look to plate some runs and grab a lead as neither team has scored so far here in this matchup. J.C. Hansen, Sasha Worster, Ava Adamson will all see the plate, and then if anybody gets on, Avery Staver, the second baseman, will also get an opportunity. J.C. Hansen, the first baseman, at the plate now for the Panthers. The junior swings on one, pops it up. It'll go to the shortstop, Aubrey Davis, who gets underneath of it, makes the grab for out number one. And that's how the first one goes down here in the bottom of the third. Sasha Worster, the right fielder, steps up to the plate for the first time tonight. Worster, the senior, 18 hits, a .290 average, a .348 on-base percentage. As Frost's first pitch to the senior hitter is hit on foul into the fence behind home plate. The count goes to 0-1. Worcester will end up the lineup for the Panthers, the 9-hitter for them. And through their first time through, it's not the fact that they weren't making contact. I mean, I see 5 different pop-ups here from the Panthers so far, their first time through the lineup. Just 1 strikeout, and then Fredrickson also had the single as well. So the Panthers have been putting bat on ball, just getting underneath it and popping it up so far here in this matchup. The 0-2 is hit on by Worcester. She pops another one up. This one will not leave the infield. Shortstop Aubrey Davis gets underneath another one, tracks it down for out number 2. As Davis grabs back-to-back pop-outs from Creston. The Panthers will turn it to the top of their order now. Ava Adamson, the catcher, steps up to the plate for the second time tonight. Adamson was a pop-out victim there in the first. She flew out to left as Frost gets one hit on by Adamson. It goes to second baseman Mari Mans, who makes the throw at first. And that's how the inning comes to a close. 2 straight 2-and-out innings, 3-and-out innings from Creston here as we go to the top of the fourth. Still scoreless in KMA on the KMA Extreme at KMA Land.
Shenandoah Medical Center, in collaboration with MD West 1, provides the most comprehensive orthopedic care in our region. Whether you have pain stemming from an athletic injury or overuse, you will have immediate access to high-quality orthopedic care. My name is Michael Delcor, and I am an orthopedic surgeon specializing in the upper extremity. Whatever the case, I will work with you to determine the best treatment plan. For more information about our extensive orthopedic coverage, simply call 712-246-7400.
T&T Ford outside Red Oak will have you taking notice. Sure, the name and logo are nice, but those trucks, and more trucks are guaranteed to catch your eye. And Ag Country trucks aren't just about convenience, they're part of the operation. And the sales team at T&T Ford can help you find and finance the right Ford truck to take you from to-do to done with efficiency. Plus, their service team has the know-how to keep your truck at its best. New name, new experience. T&T Ford just east of Red Oak and anytime at tntford.com.
Welcome back here into Creston on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. Both teams went 3-and-out there in the third order. That leads us to where we're at. Still scoreless here in Creston as Lewis Central will get set to bat their 3, 4, 5 hitters. Aubrey Davis, Cami Damgard, Cameron King will all see the plate, and then if anybody gets on, Maddie Jonette, the center fielder, will also be patiently awaiting. Aubrey Davis, the shortstop, at the plate now. She got on with a walk there in her first at-bat. Fredrickson misses the strike zone for the first 2 pitches here in her second at-bat. 2-0 is the count. The 2-0 is high for a ball. The count goes to a 3-0. Davis, after the walk there in the first, up in the count, 3 balls to no strikes on Fredrickson here in this second at-bat. Here's the pitch. It's in there for a strike 1. As Davis, going to assume, was given the red light on the 3-0 count. Fredrickson works a strike in. Here's the pitch from her to Davis. It's in there for strike 2, and Fredrickson puts herself in a pretty good situation now after being down 3-0. Works the count full. Here's the payoff pitch. It is high and away for ball 4, and Aubrey Davis, even after getting a full count, ends up on first with a walk, her second walk of the evening here tonight. Cammie Damgard, the left fielder, steps up to the plate. Damgard also walked in her first at-bat there to lead off the top of the second. She's got a runner on first here with no outs. Damgard looks to lay down a bunt. She does, but it goes foul off home plate. And Davis, who is moving on the pitch, will have to head back to first. And that's the one, Lewis Central, right idea there by the left fielder Damgard and head coach Rob Riggs, because that's the only way you're going to probably get runs in on this Creston defense. And Taryn Fredrickson is playing small ball and working runners smartly around the bases, getting them in when you possibly can, because you're not going to be given too many opportunities against a good pitcher like Fredrickson. She's up in the count, 0-2 on Damgard here. No balls, 2 strikes, no outs for the Titans. Here's the pitch. It's high for a ball. The count goes to 1-2. Again, the winner of this one will move on and play the winner of Dallas Center Grimes Glenwood. If it's Dallas Center Grimes over Glenwood, that game will be played in Grimes no matter what. But if Glenwood is able to pull off the upset there in DCG, then one of these 2 teams would host, depending on who comes out of this matchup. Here's the 2-2 is 2 straight balls from Fredrickson. She misses again high for ball 3. Davis just takes off. Good heads-up base running there over on first. Adamson threw it down to first, and then Hansen turned to tag at first, but Davis, instead of just heading back, took second instead, and that'll move a runner in scoring position now for the Titans with no outs. A full count as well for Cammie Damgard, the left fielder, who's at the plate. Here's the pitch from Fredrickson to Damgard. It's hit on, popped up out of play. And so we'll have another full count pitch on the way. I could sit here all day and talk about Aubrey Davis and her softball awareness. As she, like I said, she's got 16 home runs on the year for the Titans. She's been a star in this lineup for Lewis Central, as Damgard will end up on first with a walk. Fredrickson was up in that count 0-2, gives up 3 balls. Damgard battles, fouls one off, and then ends up on first with a walk. That puts runners in on first and second now, as Adamson goes out to have a quick conversation with her pitcher. No outs for the Titans here in the top of the 4th. They've got runners on first and second. Cameron King, the third baseman, steps up to the plate. She flew out to second there in her first at-bat. She looked to bunt, doesn't pull back, and the ball just kind of goes by her. The count goes to 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's fouled off by King. The count goes to 0-2. This one's hit on. It'll drop in the outfield for a base hit. Cameron King with a single. Aubrey Davis rounds 3, heads home. She will score. Davis will move to second on the throw in from home. Damgard will move over to third, and the Titans played the first run of the afternoon here in the top of the fourth on an RBI single from third baseman Cameron King. Davis got in there on the single. Damgard moved to third, and then King, like I said, moves to second on the throw in from Sasha Worster over in right field. Now Maddie Johnette, the center fielder, steps up to the plate as the Titans still have 2 runners in scoring position on second and third with no outs. Fredrickson and the Creston defense have put themselves in a tight situation that they've got to find a way to get out of with minimal damage. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Johnette. Johnette fouls this one off. It'll go out of play, and the count goes to 0-2 now. Here's the 0-2 from Fredrickson to Johnette. It's taken for strike 3, so that's how the first one will go down here in the top of the fourth. Fredrickson works her 4th strikeout. And Haley Wilcox, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Still runners in scoring position for the Titans on second and third, but with 1 out now. Wilcox watches the ball go low, and the count goes to 1-0. She walked in her first at-bat there in the top of the second. As she looks to square away a bunt, can't make contact, and the count goes to 1-1. Wilcox was looking to bunt there, maybe drive in a couple runs and make the Creston defense have to make some decisions. Here's the 1-1. This one is hit on. It'll go foul. Will stay in play, but nobody's able to get to it before it drops. So the count goes to 1-2 for Haley Wilcox, the first baseman. The senior hitter for the Titans, hitting 275 on the year. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss by Wilcox. Back-to-back strikeouts for Taryn Fredrickson. As she's feeling it now in the circle, Mac Naylor, the right fielder, steps up to the plate for the second time tonight. Naylor was one of Fredrickson's strikeout victims there in the top of the second. The Titans have already plated 1 run, but are looking to do so, add some more, here with runners in scoring position, but now they have 2 outs, so the sacrifice play has been completely eliminated. Naylor fouls one off. The count goes to 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. It's high for a ball. The count evens up. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here for the Titan defense or offense. The 1-1 is high for ball 2. And it moves things to 2-1. Underwood Trainer going on over in Underwood in a Class 2A district final baseball game. Underwood up 2-1 there in that matchup. This one swung on a miss by Naylor. The count evens up at 2-2. Fredrickson just 1 strike away from getting the Panthers out of this tight situation. Here is the 2-2 pitch. It's high and away for ball 3. The count will go full now for Mac Naylor, and this full count pitch bigger than ever for these squads. Fredrickson and the Panther defense trying not to allow the Titans to load the bases and get out of this situation. They get to strike 3 as Naylor swings on and misses. 3 straight strikeouts for Fredrickson to end that inning with runners in scoring position. Some big play out of the senior pitcher for Creston as we go to the bottom of the 4th. The Titans did play to run 1-0. They lead it here on the KMA stream at KMAland.com.
Our name says it all. We're Total Farm Solutions. This is Eric with TFS, and when it comes to your operation, we want to be your total partner in and out of the field. We're your Pioneer seed dealer, along with bulk options and seed treatments. And we study genetics, offering scouting and agronomic solutions. Taking care of our customer is part of our total service. We're Total Farm Solutions. Give us a call or find our office just outside of Carson.
is believing. That's what you'll hear from customers that choose Barrett Auto Center of Glenwood time and time again. Barrett customers come in for vehicles and service work, but they come back for conversation and honest advice. They want one of the largest pre-owned and fully serviced inventories in KMA land, and they return when they've gone elsewhere and it just isn't the same. See and believe for yourself how little differences add up to a better car buying experience. Come back to Barrett's and barrettsautocenter.com.
Welcome back here into Creston as the Titans have scored the first run of the game there in the top of the fourth. They lead it 1-0 here on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. The Titans could have done some more damage there in that top of the fourth. They had two runners in scoring position with no outs, but Taryn Fredrickson in the circle worked the Panther defense out of that situation. 3 straight strikeouts for Fredrickson. That's strikeout number 6, by the way, from her tonight to end that inning. At the plate now for the Panthers, Avery Staver, the 2-hitter, steps up to the plate. She grounded out there in her first at-bat. She's up at the count, 2 balls to 1 strike here in the bottom of the fourth. The Panthers would like to come back and get that run back as quickly as they possibly can that they gave up on the RBI single from Cameron King in the top of the fourth. Staver watches strike 2 go by. The count evens up at 2-2. On the changeup pitch to Staver, she pops it up out of play. And the count goes to 2-0. Or 2-2, excuse me. 2-2, no outs for the Panthers here. And the leadoff hitter, Avery Staver. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It goes off the hands of Staver. Home plate umpire is going to say, make her stay, say she leaned in. Or maybe even say it hit the knob of her bat. We'll see which one they rule. Head coach David Hartman going to come in and have a quick conversation, trying to argue that she did take one off the wrist, and now home plate umpire and a fielding umpire are going to come in and have a quick conversation about this one. It definitely, I think it went off the wrist of Staver. I don't know if the home plate umpire was just saying that it was not if it hit the knob of the bat, or if they're saying that she leaned into it. And they will put her on first on the hit by pitch. So Staver will take the first base there on a hit by pitch, giving the Panthers a leadoff base runner. And now Rob Riggs, Lewis Central head coach, wants to have a quick conversation with the fielding umpire and have it just understand why that one got overturned. Because originally the ruling on the field was that it did not hit Staver, and then after a discussion between the fielding ump and home plate ump, the ruling is that it goes off her wrist, and she will end up on first with a hit by pitch. And Riggs, head coach of Lewis Central, not able to change the mind of anybody, so Staver will remain on first. Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher, steps up to the plate for the second time tonight. Fredrickson had a single in her first at-bat. She watches ball 1 go high, and the count goes to 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Fredrickson. Fredrickson takes a hard chop at one, but can't make contact as the count evens up at 1-1. As I mentioned earlier, Trevor Mader is in on the call of a Mount Air Lennox Class 1A District 14 final game. Mount Air leads at 3-0, over Lennox over in Lennox. The 1-1 is hit on by Fredrickson. It goes foul out of play, and the count goes to 1-2. The other game on the KM airwaves here on the tournament trail is Tri-Center and Ogden there in Class 2A District Final Baseball, as Tri-Center has a 5-1 lead over Ogden there in that baseball matchup. This one's hit on by Fredrickson. A ground ball to Aubrey Davis, the shortstop. Davis gets froze there at shortstop, can't make a throw anywhere, and that'll put runners on first and second now for the Panthers. Jersey Foot, the center fielder, the 4-hitter, steps up to the plate for the second time tonight. Foot flew out to second there in her first at-bat, and this is the first time that the Panthers have had 2 base runners on. In fact, they've had just 1 base runner since this point. But now they've got runners on first and second with no outs. Foot watches ball 1 go high and away, and the count goes to 1-0. And this is a situation that Creston softball thrives in. They're excellent at driving in runs once they get on, and especially after giving up the 1 run, I'm sure they'd love to do so here. Get their get back here at the bottom of the 4th. As Foot watches ball 2 go high, goes at about her face level, and the count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, no outs for the Panthers. Runners on first and second as Frost gets her pitch. Now throws it down to Foot. Foot swings on and misses, and the count goes to 2-1. Jersey Foot kind of pulled her head there a little bit on the swing, maybe looking for the fences. Was the righty batter. Here's the 2-1. Foot pops this one up out of play, and the count will even up at 2-2 now. Here in Creston, left and right field, 185 from the foul poles to home plate, and then dead center from home plate is 210. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. To Foot. Foot hits this one on, pops it up, but it won't leave the infield. Aubrey Davis at shortstop runs up underneath of it, makes the grab for out number 1, and another pop out from the Creston offense gives them their first out here at the bottom of the 4th. Evie Marlin, the third baseman, steps up to the plate. She flew out to left there in her first at-bat, and I mentioned it earlier, pop-outs were a killer for the Creston offense there their first time through. They had 6 different pop-outs through the 9 batters. Evie Marlin watches a ball go outside. The count goes to 1-0 with 1 out. The 1-0 is hit on, drove into the outfield. Center fielder Maddie Johnette gets underneath of it, makes the grab for out number 2. And after the Panthers put 2 runners on, immediately with no outs, back-to-back flyouts from them, keeps the runners at first and second as well. Mila Coons, the shortstop, steps up with 2 outs, trying to drive in a couple runs for the Panthers, or at least 1 to tie it up. First pitch to Coons is low in there, for strike 1. I thought it might have been a little low and outside, but I was wrong. It finds the strike zone, and the count goes to 0-1. The 0-1 is high for a ball. The count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Here's the pitch. This one's popped up into center. It has opportunity to drop, but Johnette's able to get underneath of it and make the grab. And that's how the inning comes to a close. The Lewis Central defense showing some spunk leaving the field here as we go to the top of the 5th. Lewis Central leads it 1-0 here on the KMA Stream at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
Sure what you want to do with your life? Feel like your job is at a standstill? Get your foot in the door with area manufacturing companies at Iowa Western Community College's SEAM program. Sign up now in the Center of Excellence for Advanced Manufacturing through IWCC. Classes are just 2 early evenings a week with holidays and summers off. Improve your current skills and learn new ones that will give you a new career or even enhance your current one. For more information on SEAM, contact IWCC's Clarinda Center at 712-542-5117.
Salvage in Bartlett is no stranger to the ups and downs of owning and operating a small business. But no matter how much changes on their end, there's one thing that will always stay the same for their customers. It's cash. Call for the best scrap metal prices in the area and go ahead and test their unloading times. Then, when all is said and done, that's right, leave with cash. J-Dog Salvage, Bartlett, Iowa, 402-290-3124. That's 402-290-3124. 3
Blew out to left there in her first at bat. Here's the 2-0. This one's hit on by Frost. It'll go foul down the third baseline. That's two nice drives by Frost into the left side of the field, but both times they go foul. And actually, the one was grabbed by Cora Smith in left field, who was able to sprint and get underneath of it for the out. The 2-1 is in the dirt for ball 3, and a hitter's count due up for Sophia Frost, the pitcher for the Titans. The Panthers had an opportunity to possibly put some pressure on Lewis Central in the bottom of the fourth. They did put pressure on as the first two batters of that inning got on with a walk, or hit by a pitch, and an error. So the pressure was on for the Titan defense, but 3 straight pop-outs from the Creston defense ends the inning, and Fredrickson works her first strikeout here this inning. 4 straight from the senior pitcher of Creston as she gets Frost swinging and missing on the full count pitch. Mari Mans, the second baseman, steps up to the plate for the 3rd time tonight. Mans has flown out and grounded out so far in this one. The first pitch to Mans is hit on foul, out of play. The count goes to 0-1. Here's the pitch to Mans. Misses for a ball. The count evens up at 1-1. The senior second baseman, leadoff hitter for the Titans, hits this one on into center field, deep into center field, at the wall. Is it over? It is. Extends their lead 2-0 here in the top of the 5th. A big home run from Mari Mans to the fence behind home plate, and the count goes to 0-1. The Titans scored their first run there in the top of the 4th with a Cameron King RBI single, and then in the top of the 5th, they've added one more so far. Looking to do some more damage here with one out, but nobody on. The 0-1 pitch maybe gets away from Fredrickson a little bit as it's way high, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for the Titans here in the top of the 5th. The pitch is high and away for a ball. Here is the 2-1 on the way. It's swung on. Contact made by Griffin. Popped up into the outfield. Right fielder Sasha Worster tracks it down, gets underneath of it for the out. The one goes down here in the top of the 5th. Aubrey Davis, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. Davis has been walked twice so far in this matchup. Still 0 for 0. She did get around and score a run there in her last at-bat on the Cameron King RBI single. She watches ball 1 go by. The count goes to 1-0. Which you'll take the walks from 1-0. Which you'll take the walks from Davis instead of the home runs that she's been able to do so far this season. Right center field, a nice grab by Jersey Foot in center field. She took off immediately off the bat from Davis, and it was a liner that she sticks her glove out, makes the grab for out number 3. That's how the top of the 5th comes to a close. Lewis Central was able to extend their lead on a Mari Mans home run. We go to the bottom of the 5th now here on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. 2-0. Lewis Central leads it.
Since 1892, Malvern Bank has been building community from 404 Main Street in Malvern, Iowa. For generations, Malvern Bank has been serving local businesses, families, and farms to help them achieve their goals in every step of their lives. From saving for college to planning for retirement and everything in between, Malvern Bank is your full-service community bank. Call, click, or stop by for an account, loan, or credit card. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Nutrient Ag Solutions takes the responsibility of growing seriously. As a leader in the ag sector, they provide their customers with complete agriculture solutions, including nutrients, crop protection products, seed, service, and digital tools for optimum customer success. Talk with Nutrient Ag Solutions in Westboro, Coyne, Percival. Nutrient Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
Sydney Staver steps up to the plate to start things off for the Panthers here in the bottom of the fifth. They find themselves trailing 2-0 over Lewis Central. Sydney Staver, J.C. Hansen, Sasha Worcester, the 7-8-9 will all be due up here in this inning. Then if anybody gets on, they'll turn it to the top of their order. Ava Adamson, as this one's hit on by Staver. A nice play is made by Davis. It's short. She turns her glove but can't make the throw over on first. And a leadoff base runner for the Panthers as Staver ends up on for in. Number 16, Cora Smith will be the base runner in for Staver, the designated player. So Smith, the one getting hit for, will just come in and run the bases there. J.C. Hansen, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Hansen flew out to short there in her first at-bat. As Adamson throws it down to first, seeing if she can get Staver. Staver able to get back in time. Or excuse me, it's Smith, not Staver. Hansen hits this one on. It goes back to Davis at short. Davis throws it way across the diamond, unable to get there, way over the head of first baseman Wilcox, and it'll move the runners from first and second over to second, third on the error, as David Hartman elects to hold Smith over on third. Back-to-back missed throws over at short from Aubrey Davis. As now the Panthers put runners in scoring position with no outs, second and third. And now head coach Rob Riggs going to have a quick conversation with his infield and his pitcher, Sophia Frost. We'll see. I doubt there's any changes made, especially not the circle position. There would be no reason to. Frost has been throwing an excellent game so far tonight, allowing just the one hit. There has been a couple errors that I mean, I've got them ruled as errors. Some of them could have probably been ruled as an infield hit as well. We'll see what the scorebook officially shows at the end of the game. You can check all the official stats in a recap at KMAland.com. There will be both a softball recap and a story after this game. Sasha Worcester at the plate. She hits it on. It goes to pops it up in the shortstop. Aubrey Davis makes the grab for out number one. So Davis cleans it up, gets the first out here in the bottom of the fifth. But the Panthers now turn it to the top of their order. Ava Adamson steps up to the plate with one out and runners in scoring position. An opportunity for the senior catcher to drive in some runs at the leadoff spot. The first pitch from Frost into Adamson is high for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. If you remember there in the bottom of the fourth, the Panthers also put two runners on with no outs, but then flew out 3 straight times to end that inning. The Titans are going to be looking to do something similar here in this inning, as Adamson watches the ball go by, a strike go by, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for the Panthers here in the bottom of the fifth. Here's the pitch. This one hit on by Adamson. It'll get through for a base hit. Adamson with an RBI hit. 1 run will come across as J.C. Hansen rounds and scores as well. A double from Ava Adamson ties things up here. A 2 RBI. Actually, I'm going to rule that one as a single. She scored, or moved to second, the run in. But Cora Smith and J.C. Hansen get in on the RBI single from Adamson, and then Adamson was also able to move over to second. Just like that, 1 hit, and the Panthers have tied us up at 2 apiece here in the bottom of the fifth. Avery Staver, the second baseman, steps up to the plate, and the Panthers again have a runner in scoring position as Adamson holds up at second. Staver has been hit by pitch once, and she grounded out in her first at-bat. Here's the first pitch from Frost to Staver in there for strike 1. The count goes to 0-1. 0-1 to Staver is in the dirt for ball one. It gets away from Griffin behind the plates. That leads Adamson to take off. She will be safe underneath the tag, moving a runner a bag closer from second over to third for Staver at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count for Avery Staver. Here's the pitch from Frost. It is low for a ball, and the count moves to 2-1. Just 1 hit from Adamson tied things up at 2 runs apiece here in the bottom of the 5th between Lewis Central and Creston. Here's the 2-1. This one's hit on, popped up by Staver into the outfield. Left fielder Cami Damgard trying to track it. She does get underneath of it and make the grab. It almost fell out of her glove there, but she was able to run well up underneath of it and make the grab for out number 2. A nice catch there from Damgard in left. Gets out number 2, and now Taryn Fredrickson, the pitcher, steps up to the plate. Fredrickson has an opportunity here to make her night a little bit easier in the circle. If she gets on with a hit, would probably score a run for the lead and the first lead of the night for Creston. As they found themselves trailing 2-0, they were able to knot things up here in this inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Frost. It's hit on by Fredrickson. It lined into Aubrey Davis at short, who just catches it for out number 3. So the inning comes to an end, but Creston was able to tie things up at 2 apiece here as we enter the top of the 6th. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. 2-2 right after this.
Business majors at Northwest Missouri State University gain the knowledge and the experiences of agriculture as well as business foundations. Northwest's faculty focuses on 4 core areas: agricultural finance,
Welcome back here into Creston. We're all tied up at the top of the 6th at 2 apiece as Creston tied things up there in the bottom of the 5th on a 2 RBI Ava Adamson single. One thing to note there from the Lewis Central defense in the bottom of the 5th, 2 throwing errors from shortstop Aubrey Davis led to 2 base runners. Both of those runners ended up getting in and scoring for the Panthers. So maybe something to look at if this one were to go the other way towards Creston. But as Lewis Central gets set to bat there, 4, 5, 6, Cami Damgard, Cameron King, Maddie Johnette will all see the plate in this inning. That if anyone gets on, Haley Wilcox patiently awaiting next. Damgard has walked twice in this one so far. She's found herself up in the count 2-0 on Taryn Fredrickson. Here's the pitch from Fredrickson. It is in there for strike 1, and the count goes to 2-1 as Damgard watched the 2-0 pitch go by for a strike. The 2-1 low for ball 3, and now a hitter's count due up for Cami Damgard, the left fielder, with a 3-1 count. By the way, like I said, Damgard has walked twice in this one so far. The 3-1 for the senior hitter is low for a ball, and Damgard will take first on a walk. A leadoff walk for the Titans puts a base runner on early here in the top of the 6th. Cameron King, the third baseman, steps up to the plate. King had an RBI single there in her last at-bat. Drove in Aubrey Davis for the first score of the game in the top of the 4th. Here's the first pitch to King. It is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 0-1. Fredrickson, we know she can work strikes well there at the bottom of the order for Lewis Central. The 6, 7, 8, 9 all struck out 4 in a row for Fredrickson in the 4th and 5th inning. Here's the 0-1. It's low for a ball. The count evens up at 1-1. This is looking to be a very fun finish here in Creston as we are all tied up with 2 innings to go on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It is in there for strike 2. Fredrickson works herself up at the count. 1-2 on Cameron King. King, the junior hitter for the Titans, finds herself down in the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on, contact is made by King. She'll keep herself alive at the plate as she fouls one back into the fence behind that one. Just skimmed it. One ball, two strikes, no outs for the Titans. Here's the 0-2. Swung on a missed by King. Another strikeout for Taryn Fredrickson. That's strikeout number 7 for the senior pitcher, Maddie Johnette. The center fielder steps up to the plate. Johnette struck out and flown out, in this matchup. As she looks to lay down a bunt, pops one directly up. Adamson unable to make the grab. It almost there, but rolls out of her glove. As Johnette will remain at the plate with an 0-1 count. No balls, one strike for the sophomore, Johnette. Here's the pitch. It is high for a ball. Adamson checks it down over to first towards Damgard. Damgard able to get back in time. Here comes the 1-1. It is hit on by Johnette, but it'll go foul down the third baseline, and the count moves to 1-2. Let's take a look at some updates across KMA land of the games we are at tonight. Tri-Center up 5-2 over Ogden in Tri-Center, and then Ethan Hewitt over in Underwood. Underwood leads at 5-1 over Trainer as this one's hit on foul by Johnette. She keeps herself alive at the plate for another pitch as the count stays at 1-2. And then lastly, Trevor Mater is over in Lennox as Lennox holds a 6-3 lead over Mount Air. That's interesting. 6 straight runs for the Tigers. Mount Air let that one 3-0 early, but since then Lennox takes a 6-3 lead. The 1-2 is missed for a ball. Adamson makes the throw down towards second on a stealing Damgard. Damgard able to get there in time as it was over the head of the second baseman, Avery Staver. The pitch to Johnette was a ball, so it's a 2-2 count for Fredrickson. Here is the 2-2. It is inside for ball 3, and it'll move the count full. I thought that one might have painted the inside part of the zone, but home plate umpire says no, it moves to a full count. Here is the 3-2 pitch. This one hit on foul, out of play, and a nice battle going on between Johnette and Fredrickson here, as we'll have another full count up ahead. The second full count pitch of this at-bat. Here's the throw from Fredrickson. Swung on and missed as Fredrickson blows it past Johnette there for a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Fredrickson here in the top of the 6th. 2 outs for the Titans here with runner in scoring position over on second. Wilcox at the plate now. She takes one for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Two outs and a runner at second for the Titans. The 1-0 finds its way in the strike zone, and it even sings out at 1-1. And Fredrickson trying to work the Panther defense out of this inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's high and away for a ball. The count goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs for the Titans here in the top of the 6th. The 2-1 is swung on and missed by the 7-hitter Haley Wilcox, so the count evens up at 2-2. Fredrickson just needs one more strike here to hold the Titans scoreless in the top of the 6th. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Actually, no, contact is made, by Wilcox, and she'll keep herself alive at the plate with a foul ball. The count will remain at 2-2. Damgard over at second for the Titans here. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. This one is a drop third strike. Adamson doesn't leave her knees, makes the throw over to first to complete the strikeout. 3 straight strikeouts from Fredrickson ends that inning with a runner on second for the Titans as we go to the bottom of the sixth. 2-2 on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. We'll be back right after this.
No one succeeds alone. It takes support to get there. Sacrifices made by others. Wisdom learned and passed on. When your business is agriculture, you dedicate your life to supporting community, doing the hard work that helps all of us thrive. It's why at PCSB, we believe in supporting you. Your success makes our community succeed. PCSB, we believe in you. Visit us online at wearepcsb.com. Member FDIC.
With a chronic respiratory condition, Rogers Pharmacy can provide what you need. Rogers Pharmacy offers a full line of respiratory equipment like oxygen, BiPAP, CPAP, and nebulizers. Rogers Pharmacy isn't a big box pharmacy where you may have to wait for days and weeks to get what you need. They're a full-service, independent, family-owned pharmacy, and they go above and beyond to offer you the quality service and products you deserve. See Rogers Pharmacy in Tarkio, Maryville, Mound City, St. Joseph, and Stanberry, Missouri. Visit Rogers Pharmacy online at rogersrx.com.
Back in Creston, where the 4-5-6 hitters of the Panthers will be due up to start the bottom of the sixth. We're tied up at 2 runs apiece here on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. Jersey Foot, Evie Marlin, Mila Coons will all see the plate here in this inning for the Panthers as Jersey Foot at the plate now. Watch a strike one go by. The count goes to 0-1. Frost has been pitching an excellent game so far. She gave up 2 runs there in that last inning on a 2 RBI single from Ava Adamson. But other than that, just giving up 1 hit before that and walked 1 batter as well. There's been a couple errors from the Titan defense, but that is not in the hands of Frost. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It is high and away for ball 1. The count goes to 1-2. Creston this season, an excellent year. 20-0 in Hawkeye 10 play, winning them the conference. I mean, obviously, when you go undefeated in something in the conference, you're going to win it all. As this one's hit on, it'll drop for a base hit. Jersey Foot hits one into center field at the wall. Foot rounds 2, heads 3, will slide, and will be safe. A triple for Jersey Foot gives the Panthers a leadoff base runner in scoring position over at third. It did go off the glove there of center fielder Maddie Johnette, but Johnette was running straight back. That would have been a difficult grab, and it just goes off her glove for a triple from Foot. Evie Marlin, the third baseman, steps up to the plate for the 3rd time tonight. Marlin has flown out twice. Both times it left the infield, entered the outfield, 1 into left and 1 into center. She's looking to change her stat line so far tonight, which it currently sits at 0-2. She watches ball 1 go by, and the count goes to 1-0. Like I was saying, Creston softball 20-0 this year in Hawkeye 10 play. 6 losses on the year. 1 came to ADM, a top-ranked team. 1 came to Winterset, another top-ranked team here in Class 4A. Ankeny, Centennial, and Ames, 2 really high-rated Class 5. She popped out to catcher Alyssa Griffin. The other, she flew out to center field. Here's the 0-1. This one's popped out of play behind the behind the press box, and the count goes to 0-2 for Mila Coons. Nobody on. It's the 1-run lead for the Panthers. This one hit on by Coons, deep into left field at the wall. Is it tracked down in a robbery, I believe, by Damgard? Are we serious? Cami Damgard at the fence, leaps up, makes the grab. That was at the lip of the fence. I don't know if that would have fallen in or out, but that was close to a home run. Jumps up, makes the grab. It left for out number 2. That's one play that the Titan defense jumps up, makes the grab. It left for out number 2. That's one play that the Titan defense is going to love looking at later on as Damgard makes an excellent play in left field. Sydney Staver, the designated player, steps into the plate for the 3rd time tonight. Staver reached on an error there in her last at-bat. She had a courtesy runner come in, or actually it wasn't really a courtesy runner. It was just the person getting hit for. Cora Smith came in and ran for her. Smith later would get in on that Adamson 2 RBI single. Staver, being aggressive at the plate, fouls one off, and the count goes to 0-1. It's one thing I've noticed from this Creston lineup. They've not been afraid to swing on the first pitch from Frost at all tonight. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Frost to Staver. This one's fouled out of play. Ed Staver finds herself down 0-2 in the count. 2 straight fouls. The 0-2 pitch is ahead from Frost to Staver. Here it is. This one's hit on by Staver into center field. Maddie Johnette gets underneath of it, makes a grab, and that's how the inning comes to a close. Creston was able to reach out and grab a lead after a jersey foot triple, and then Evie Marlin drove her in on a sacrifice ground out. But the Titans hold the Panthers scoreless after that. 3-2, Creston leads it here. So we enter the 7th inning. Do or die time for Lewis Central. They've got to play to run to keep their season alive in the top of the 7th. We go to the top of the 7th next on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
This is Sid with Shop Agronomy with my dad, Shane. I've learned that Pioneer seed is second to none and that they back that up with proven products and yields. I've also learned that if our customers have a question or a concern, we'll work until we figure out the answer or solution. I'm learning all of this because at Shop we've made a commitment, and that commitment is our family, yours. Call Shane at 712-520-1333.
Welcome back here into Creston. Like I said, it's do or for the Titans. They've got to play to run here in the top of the 7th to keep their season alive. Their 8-9-1 hitters will all be in this inning. Mac Naylor, Sophia Frost, and Mari Mans. And then if anybody gets on, Alyssa Griffin will step up to the plate. So we'll see if the Titans are able to keep their season rolling or if Taryn Fredrickson and the Creston defense is going to work out of this game with a semifinal win and move on to a regional championship game. Fredrickson forces an inside strike on Naylor as the count goes to 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. On foul out of play, and Mac Naylor finds herself down in the count 0-2 early. Exactly what she didn't want to do here against a good pitcher in Fredrickson. 0-2 pitch for Fredrickson. We'll see what the senior pitcher decides to do. Here's the throw. It's swung on and missed by Naylor. Strike 3 as Fredrickson works 4 straight strikeouts again. It's twice she's done that so far tonight. She's up to strikeout number 11 on the night for Fredrickson as she's been working, especially there in the 4th and 6th inning. She had 3 Ks in both of those. Sophia Frost, the pitcher at the plate now. Frost flew out to left in her first at-bat, and she struck out in her second. She fouls one out of play, and the count goes to 0-1. The Panthers just 2 outs away from a trip to a regional championship game against either Dallas Center Grimes or Glenwood. Here's the 0-1. It is high for a ball, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for the Titans here in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Contact made, fouled off, and the count goes to 1-2. Fredrickson's 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Fredrickson as she is feeling it right now. 5 straight strikeouts from the senior pitcher as she works to the top of the order. Mari Mans, the second baseman, steps up to the plate. Mans did have a good at-bat there in her last one. A solo shot over dead center gave the Titans a 2-0 lead, but since then the Panthers able to get up 1 run. The Titans face do or die here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Fredrickson misses the strike zone. The count goes to 1-0. Fredrickson works the strike in. The count evens up at 1-1. The Panthers were able to take the lead there in the bottom of the 6th after a jersey foot triple. Then Evie Marlin drove her in. This one's hit on. It goes to Coons at shortstop. This is for the game. It's over at first and out. That is how the game comes to a close. Mila Coons makes the throw from short all the way to first. Getting out number 3, and Creston will move on to a regional championship game against either Dallas Center Grimes or Glenwood, depending on who comes out of that matchup. It was a close one all the way through here in Creston as they pick up a 3-2 win over Lewis Central. Taryn Fredrickson threw a complete game for the Panthers. She's had 11 strikeouts, allowed just a couple hits, I believe, just 2 hits given up by Fredrickson. She did have a couple walks in there as well, but 11 strikeouts as she pitches a complete game, leading Creston to a 3-2 win. As for the hitting side of things, the Panthers were led by Ava Adamson, who had that 2 RBI double there in the 5th to tie things up. Then Jersey Foot scored a run after a triple hit after being hit in by Evie Marlin. That's how the game comes to a close. 3-2. Creston wins it here in Creston as they move on to a regional championship game on Tuesday, again, either over Dallas Center Grimes or Glenwood. We can go ahead and I believe that was a big cannon shot here in Creston. Scared me. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some other games before we go away for the rest of the night. 8-5, Lennox leads it over Mount Ayr in a baseball matchup. You can go listen to that one on KMA AM with Trevor Mader. Also on KMA FM, Ethan Hewitt is on the call of a 5-1 lead for Underwood over Trainer. And then the other KMA X stream you can listen to tonight at YouTube on the KMA X stream at KMAland.com. You can listen in to Tri-Center and Ogden as Tri-Center holds an 8-2 lead going into the 7th inning. Dusty Scahill is on the call of that one. But again, from Creston, Creston wins it 3-2 over Lewis Central here on the KMA X stream at KMAland.com. For KMA Sports, I'm Tate and Amy.